You talk about service. I had the honor to work alongside Mother Teresa in Calcutta, and
Wow.
I know so did you. Could you take us back to some of those memories?
I spent a little time with her a couple of different occasions. It's a very interesting one, but kind of a long story. I'm such a windbag anyway. Well, you're kind of stuck with me, aren't you? No. I have a wonderful friend who's a peacemaker. I met him in a paddy wagon, I swear to you. That was my first introduction to him. He became my lawyer and became like a brother.
You met your lawyer in a paddy wagon?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
And when
we went to the station house, and he's going around collecting everybody's tickets. You know, you get a ticket and you have to appear. I said, "What? Weren't you arrested with us?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, I'll defend you. You don't have to come to court." And I said, "How you going?" He said, "I'm a lawyer." And I said, "But you were in the paddy wagon. You were just arrested." He said, "Yeah, I know. I believe in the same thing." He said, and he did, and we've been together ever since. Joe Cosgrove, he's one of my heroes. At any rate, he called me up one day and he said, "Listen, I'm going to Rome on a peace mission. I want you to join us." And I said, "Well, it'd be great. Okay, what do I do?" This is during the Gulf War in January '91. And he was in New York and I was in Los Angeles. He said, "Meet me at JFK at a certain gate and so forth, a certain time, and we'll be." I said, "Okay, fine." And I'm standing there at the assigned gate, and Joe comes up. "Well, okay, we're all set. We're going on Italia." I said, "Well, where is everybody?" He said, "No, it's just you and me." I said, "I thought you said a peace mission." He said, "Yeah, we're going to go see Mother Teresa, and she's going to help us stop the war in the Gulf." I said, "Joe, you're crazy. What are you talking about?" He said, "No, I have a friend who has given me an introduction to Mother Teresa. She's coming to Rome tomorrow, and she's going to be seeing the Holy Father on Thursday next. And this is Tuesday, so we're going to try and see her tomorrow, and I'm going to ask her to take a writ to the Holy Father to allow me as a lawyer pro bono and represent the Vatican at The Hague, because you can't go to The Hague." Are you following all this? You can't go to The Hague as an individual. You have to go as a nation. Yes. The only nation in the world that objected to the Gulf War unilaterally was the Vatican.
Wow.
And they had the right to take the case to the World Court. So Pope John Paul II invited the litigants, Saddam Hussein and George Bush, to come to The Hague and let the Vatican mediate the war. That was our plan. Okay. And so Mother Teresa was going to take this writ to the Holy Father, because we didn't know anyone who knew him. And so off we go to Rome, and we arrive in Rome, and we go to a hotel, and Joe makes a phone call, and he hangs up. He says, "Well, they're waiting for us. Let's go." And we go over to this little community in Rome, and it was a former chicken house. Literally, it was a hen house that his community had made with the missions of charity. And we came in, and a nun greeted us and said, "Here, come in backstage of the chapel." And there was a tiny little room with a card table and a couple of chairs, and surrounded by a lot of old clothes for the poor. And we sat down there, and the sister said, "Mother will be with you in a minute," and she left. And we're sitting there thinking, what are we doing here? Suddenly the door burst open, and Mother Teresa walked in. She's only this big.
Yes.
And you just burst into tears. You think, oh my God, this is
She had the same
something
effect on me completely. I broke down in
powerful,
tears.
light.
Yeah.
And you're looking over the top of her head. How can you do that? That's so disrespectful. And so I crouched down. You know, you don't want to look over the top of Mother's head. And you're fussing, you know. She's not having any fussing. Sit down, sit down, sit down. What can I do for you? And Joe began to explain the World Court and explaining how we could take this case. If she took it to the Holy Father and he agreed, Joe would represent the Vatican pro bono and take it to The Hague and stop the war. And Mother Teresa looked off very wistfully, and she said, "I've never heard of this World Court. How do they make them obey?" And Joe said, "Oh, no, Mother, it doesn't work like that. It's a moral victory." And he explained how the United States was ordered to the court by Nicaragua because we'd done such horrible damage there. And Mr. Reagan, who was the president at the time, answered with an empty chair. He did not recognize the court. So Mother said, "Well, it sounds like a good idea, and I'll be glad to talk to the Holy Father about that." And
Fabulous.
she did.
Fabulous.
And that was that.
That is extraordinary.
Well, well, the long and the short was, that was a Wednesday when we met her. On Thursday, we stayed in Rome. She invited us to come to Mass the next morning at 5 o'clock at her community. Those of you who know the date, the war ended that morning. And Joe looked at me and he said, "Don't mess with Mother."